doing this video, so I want to get through this like really quickly. Um, this is the 1980 off-season progs and training camp options video. Uh, so I'm just gonna go through like the progs for every team. I won't do it on the actual prog screen as always because like the prog screen is inaccurate because of the intangibles adjustment thing that I do before free agency. So just check the pre-free agency roster video and compare it with like this video to see the to know the accurate prog stuff. And also, if you like the red and green arrows, those are morale, not progs. So don't worry. That's just like if your player has a -1 there and regressing, they're just kind of like pissed right now. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. The Sixers, John Williamson is the clear top player now. Brad Davis is second because Spencer Haywood and Pete Maravich have dropped. They've sorry, but they both dropped to an 85 overall now. So, yeah, the Sixers are starting to fall apart. Still a playoff team though. Here's the Bucks, pretty much the same. Charlie Scott is a bit pissed right now for some reason, and Krezmir Kosic down to a 76. The Bulls, Adrian Dantley up to a 95, but he is pissed right now. Uh, Randy Smith is regressing good amount. Yeah, so the rest of their roster. I would expect Radad to start Kikanovich over Randy Smith at this point. Because like if he has him on the bench anymore, I think he might just not develop, or like he might not develop to like a star because you need to play to like starting is huge for development, and I don't think it's like really worth starting Randy Smith over Kikanovich at this point. For the Cavs, Dr. J starting to regress a bit, only one, but like still regression down to a 97. Uh, yeah. Celtics, Larry Bird all the way up to a 96 overall. He's going to establish himself as one of the best players in the league very early on, which is very interesting to see. Here are the rest of the players. The Braves, Alvin Adams, it's a 94. Um, Bill Lambier up to an 84 is pretty big. Yeah. Clippers, this one, they're regressing now. Like, or they were regressing before, but now like they're really starting to regress hard. Gilmore regressed one, but Tom Jonovich down to an 85, Unseld 80, Wilbur Holland 80. Uh, yeah, I don't know if they'll even be like a 60-win team anymore. I don't know if they'll probably be like low 50s. They only have like 2 stars now, which is just so much less than what they usually have. For the Hawks, Magic Johnson up to a 93. Um, Still don't have a ton of depth, but yeah, Magic into the 90s. Uh, they have one of the best duos in the league. For the Heat, Vinnie Johnson, I think, was their biggest jump. He's up to a 79. I think he'll probably have like actually productive year in season number 2 for him, but we'll have to see. He's looking like he's gonna be like a six-man type to Daryl Griffith, like a six-man spark plug type, like Lou Williams, Jamal Crawford-esque. For the Hornets, a lot of players playing up with morale. Oscar Schmidt up to a 90, so they're one of, I believe, might be 4 teams now with 390s. Uh, there's obviously the Cavs, the Nets, this Hornets team, and another team, which you will see soon. Jazz, Now that Johnny Davis isn't gonna drag them to the playoffs, probably, or well, he's obviously Johnny Davis won't drag them to the playoffs, but they probably won't make the playoffs now. Um, they might have a chance at a top pick in getting like Isaiah Thomas, which would be huge for their franchise. The Kings are in full tank mode now. Only one like even rotation level player, in my opinion, on their entire roster. Arturo Guerrero is down under a 70 overall. Dino Dino Menigan was like really intriguing in year number one, and then he just regressed so hard very early on. The Knicks, Tiny Archibald down to an 82, but luckily for them, he's only under contract for one more season. Uh, the Lakers, David Thompson up to a 99. Cliff Robinson developing. Even though they didn't get like a top three pick from either of the Suns picks in the past 2 years, they still did get two really quality young players in G-Man and Cliff Robinson. Uh, Bubbles Hawkins, 91. I don't know if he was already there. I think he was like an 89 or a 90. So yeah, would expect the Magic to make the playoffs this year. Was shocked to see them not make it last year. I need to get some water real quick. Okay, should be good now. Mavericks, their dynamic duo is up to an eight. They're both up to an 89 overalls. Uh, and they brought in a couple really intriguing young bigs in the draft. So Mavericks might be on the come up very soon, or they might be like a really good team very soon. I don't know. I don't think this is the year, but like next year or the year after, look out for the Mavericks. They're sneakily putting something very special together over there. The Nets, one of the four teams with 390 overalls. Um, yeah, Larry Knight didn't actually go all the way up to an 86 purely off of progs. He went up like two to an 84, and then he did get switched to power forward by their GM, so now he's an 86 overall and their fourth best player. So the Nets, like their top six is really good. They signed Camille Brabenik in free agency. They drafted Calvin Ramsey in the draft and also signed Steve Hawes to a minimum in free agency. So the Nets could make some noise this year. I don't think I quite agree with APJ's like claims about them being like the best team in the league or whatever, but definitely an intriguing roster for sure. The Nuggets, World Be Free, he's the oldest player to like keep developing, like 27 years old and going up, I believe, two overalls at 27. Definitely the oldest player to keep developing, and now that he's back into the 90 overall club, uh, the Nuggets once again have 390s. Let's see if that amounts to anything. It hasn't so far, but still a very good roster, of course. Pacers, a couple of other guys are regressing, but still quality players, and should still be a good playoff team. They do need a point guard though. Maserati is regressing pretty early. Uh, Grizzlies, uh, they had a lot of really good, uh, like players that were really good really early on, but they were also older rookies. So that's why a lot of their players haven't like jumped up a ton anymore. But now they finally have that like franchise type player in Kevin McHale. So the Grizzlies should be interesting soon. Now that you have like the supporting cast in place, uh, did brick did pick up Tom Henderson to be their point guard too. So uh, yeah, very interesting young team. The Pistons uh, are terrible now. Uh, but they do have like a couple players that have shown signs of being like better scorers than their numbers have shown. Like per 36, John Shoemate and Freeman Williams is just like both of these guys just haven't gotten a ton of opportunity, so they could have like quote unquote breakout seasons, even though it's just like they're getting a ton of touches, but we'll see. But they are definitely one of the worst teams in the league. The Huskies finally got that third star in Billy Knight, so maybe that pushes them over the top. We'll have to see. The Rockets got Bob Lanier and Dan Roundfield in free agency, two very interesting pickups, and that probably takes them into like that playoff level. The Spurs, uh, Kareem dropped two overalls, but I wouldn't expect him to be much. Like I don't think he'll be that much worse. They didn't really like lose. They lost a bit of like depth, but um, like I think they might have lost. I'm trying to think. They lost like one player. They lost their ninth man. So they'll probably still be like a 65 win team, maybe even 70 win team again. Still definitely contenders, even though Kareem's dropping a bit and they lost like. But yeah, like, whatever. Yeah, the Spurs are still amazing. Suns still not great. Dave Cowens is regressing pretty hard now. Well, I mean, he dropped two, but uh, yeah, he's definitely not a top 10 player anymore at this point. So, yeah, the Lakers are gonna probably keep getting really good picks. The Sonics the Sonics. Tom Borwinkle, I guess, is regressing. So, the legend of Tom Borwinkle is finally coming to an end. The Timberwolves, nothing much really going on here. Um, I think Zoran Slavnik is starting for them. Might be wrong on that, but at the very least, he's probably, I think he's in the rotation. And he's down to a 60 overall, which is kind of wild. Portland, I don't know how much of their success can be attributed to Larry Knight. He was really good, but I don't think he was one of their top players. So I think they might still be a really good team, especially because I don't know if Sobers is really worse or even like I don't know if he's that much worse or even like worse at all than Larry Knight. So Portland could still be really good this year. The Warriors, they still have their three like really good young guys. They'll probably continue to be really bad if they can get like Isaiah Thomas. So they have like that actual franchise type player with and then add on three young stars on top of that. Then they're like an insane team. But right now they just have uh as Breezy would like to say, three third options. But yeah, they're still very young. And the Warriors still have a ton of flexibility. And finally, the last team, the Bullets, another team that desperately needs Isaiah Thomas. They have like a lot of young talent, but a lot of it isn't really progressing because they a lot of it most of these guys can't really get opportunity because they're all fighting with minutes for each other, for minutes with each other. But they've got like these three guys which look pretty promising. Kyle Macy was okay, but nothing special. So they have pieces. Of course, they have Michael Cooper at the top. Uh, they'll probably be terrible again though, so they just need like those ping pong balls to fall right, so they can get like an actual franchise type player. And yeah, that's it for progs. Let's quickly take a look at training camp options. So, as always, every team gets two training camps to use on individual players The only training camp that isn't for individual players is free throw camp, which is plus one free throw to your entire team. You cannot use both training camps on the same player. Yeah, so first training camp is big man offense, just for like post stuff, perimeter shooting, offensive fundamentals, which is just a bunch of like just kind of random, dunk, layup, hands consistency, rebounding, conditioning, stamina, hustle, and reaction time, athleticism, which is vertical speed, speed with ball, acceleration, lateral quickness, and standing dunk. Interesting. Big man defense, which is pretty straightforward. Perimeter defense, which I think is also pretty straightforward. Combo guard, which is like playmaking stuff. Basketball 101, which is all of the different IQ stuff, shot IQ, pass IQ, help defense IQ. Perimeter defense, which they already included it in the perimeter defense camp, so I don't know why it's in here, but uh, yeah, that's pretty nice to have. And pick and roll defensive IQ. Untapped potential, which is obvious, which is the most popular one by far. Increases the ceilings of your young players, but yeah, so that one's obviously super popular. Free throw camp, which affects your entire team, gives them plus one free throw. And finally, weight camp, which increases your player's weight and gives them plus four strength. Um, yeah, that's it for the off-season progs and training camp options video.